In the last section, we talked a lot about compound interest. And the idea was we had a lump sum of money and we just put it in an account. And then we came back 1 or 2 or 10 years later to see how much money was there. We aren't adding anymore, we're just leaving it there. In this section, we are going to talk about savings and investments. And in these problems, instead of just leaving a lump sum of money in the bank, we're going to continue to add money to it every compounding period. And just like in previous sections, we're going to start out with a problem so we get some experience first, and then we'll come back and formalize it with some math notation. So let's look at this problem. To save for vacation, you save $1,000 per year in an investment account that pays 10% interest compounded yearly. So let's figure out how much we'll have in the account the first 4 years. In year 1, we will start with, in the account, the previous amount will be $0. The interest that we earn on $0 is $0. When I add those two amounts together, I get $0. And then I'm going to make my first deposit. So that will be $1,000. So now in the account, I have $1,000. Then at the beginning of year 2, I have $1,000 and I'm earning 10% interest. So 10% of 1,000 is going to be $100. I have my $1,000 plus $100 in interest. I'm going to add those together. I get $1,100 in the account. And in the compound interest formula that we learned in the previous section, we would just leave that and then go to the next year. However, we are going to add another $1,000. We're going to add $1,000 every year. So here's the $1,000 that we are adding for year 2. I will add these two together, my previous amount plus the interest plus my new payment. So I get $2,100. Now, at this point, I would like you to pause the video and try your hand at filling out the next 2 rows and see what you come up with. All right, now that you have worked through row 3 and row 4, your answers should match mine. Now that we've kind of learned about this problem, let's see if we could redo it using the formula that I have here at the bottom of the page. So problem 2 says, using the future value for a savings plan formula, find the future value of saving $1,000 per year in an account that pays 10% interest compounded yearly for 4 years. And if we do it correctly, our answer will match what we got for problem 1. Let's talk about this formula for just a moment. This is called the savings plan formula, and we're going to use that for when we make regular fixed payments into some sort of account. Some people have 401ks at work. This would be the formula that you use, or an employee pension, or maybe you're contributing to an IRA. Now for this class, we're just going to do regular payments. So here's our formula, and we've seen a lot of these variables before. We've for sure seen R, that's the rate, it has to be a decimal. We've for sure seen N, that's the number of compoundings. That would be if it's annual, semi-annual, quarterly, and so on like that. You've also seen T, that's going to be time. Time has to be in years. The new variable we have is this PMT. That's the payment we're going to make. And we've also already seen FV. We've already solved for that. So the formula looks a little more complex than the previous section. However, the variables we've already seen. So let's go back and do this problem. I'm going to look back over it and identify all my variables. We are saving $1,000 per year, so this will be the payment. The 10% is going to be the interest rate, and that has to be a decimal. Compounded yearly, that's little n, and in this case, it'll be 1. And then the time is going to be 4 years. So now I can just use this formula and plug in all those numbers, and I'll get FV equals 1,000 times 1 plus 0.10 all over 1. Now, when you do the calculations, you don't have to divide by 1, but I'm putting it there so you see where it goes. This will all be raised to the 1 times 4 minus 1, all divided by the rate over the number of compoundings. Then, when you put this into your calculator, you should get $4,641, which exactly matches what we did when we were using the table. Now, a couple of notes. This is a great place to pause the video and make sure that you know how to put this in your calculator to get the answer out. Usually, the error that pops up is that we need parentheses around the whole numerator. So if you want to do it separately, or if you want to do it in one big long statement, just make sure that you're putting parentheses around the numerator and the denominator. And I would actually even go as far as to put another set right there. And then the brackets in the calculator are actually also going to be parentheses. So that is our formula for a savings plan. In the next video, we will cover some examples.